folks, Eric Wooldridge here of the Additive Guru channel. Today we're going to do a quick little walkthrough using Fusion to make a simple bracket that could be utilized in hanging curtains or the Venetian blind type of brackets you often see on curtain systems over windows. And these are the plastic parts that often break periodically. And you may never know, you might need to recreate them using 3D printing and of course solid. So to do this work, the first thing we're going to have to do is have a blueprint of measurements, and I have it on the screen here. Nothing too fancy, it's maybe not super clear, but it boils down to this. We're going to be making a bracket kind of in this shape, and it's roughly going to be 25 by 25 by 30 tall, with some little triangular points at the end for connections, maybe a little hole in the back. And nothing super special. So in this process, what I'm going to do is start off by planning out how I intend to model this thing using Fusion. So what I may do is actually create a block that is in fact 25 by 25 by 30 tall, and then after I model that, I may come back in and create the cross section that cuts out what I need it to be all the way down to the base. So that's my game plan for modeling. Let's see how it works. First step is to model the 25 by 25 by 30 block. So I will hit create a sketch. I will select the plane in question I want to draw on, and I will simply draw or use the rectangle tool to make a rectangle, clicking there, and then go apply dimensions. Click here, and place 25. Click here, and place 25. And I'm going to stop actually. That's about all I need for this operation. So I hit finish sketch, and then I select extrude. You can also find this on other models or other menus if you hit create there and find it there, or you hit E on the keyboard. Extrude. Select my zone in question and say that, try that again, and say that it's going to be 30 millimeters tall. And now we have our block. So that's a good starting point. Why don't you pause the video and do that now? Alright, next step is to go back and figure out the cross section of this shape so that I can actually cut it out of the part. So I'm going to go back in and hit create new sketch, select the top surface of my block, and I'm going to sort of quickly just sketch out this cross section. And I'm not worried too much about having everything perfect. I'll use the dimension tools to control all of that afterwards. I even draw a line right there to kind of close it up. I hit escape, and then I use my dimension tool to lock on points for dimensioning. And I'll just say 3 is fine for right there. Click here and here. 3 is fine for that right now. Click here and here. 3 is fine for that. And my triangle is going to be 7's fine. Here to here, 7. And maybe the triangle is 5 tall, 5 tall. All I did was actually use the dimensions to control the shape. I'm not even actually checking to see if my dimensions are right at this point in time, because that's the best part. Once the dimensions are placed, I can even do a really neat trick like this. So instead of me actually typing in all these matching numbers, I can double click this one and get to highlight, and then click on this one and hit enter, and well, normally it accepts it. Let me try that again. There we go. Clicked on this one and clicked on that one, and it said D6, which means it's now going to link itself to whatever this one is. And I'll say this one should match this one, enter, and this one should match this one, enter. Now if I was wise, I probably would have done them all on the same side to one side, and that way I wouldn't have to jump back and forth. But the key thing is that I will now be able to click on one, change it, and the other one matches up. Now I'll go back and actually look at my dimensions. It looks like the base of the triangle feature is 5 across, wall thickness is 3, so that's correct, and it's 3 tall on the triangle. So I'll go make some adjustments real fast and say 5 here. You'll notice that both changed, and I'll say 3 here, and both changed there. So now I have the cross section that matches what I want here. Now the next question is how deep? Well, according to this, it is 30 tall, which is what I made it to be, and the wall thickness at the bottom is 3 deep. So I need to extrude my cut down 30 minus 3, which is 27 from there to there. So I finish my sketch, because I'm done sketching at this point. Finish my sketch, maybe orbit it a little bit so I can see it. Hit my extrude, select this zone, and set it to minus 27. The software correctly interprets that I want to do a cut, so I'll leave it that way, and I say OK. And so there we go. There's my piece. Now one more thing that we threw into this particular case is the fact that the back of this part, the back wall, has a rectangular cut that is 10 by 5 and is 10 from the side and 10 down and 10 from above. So let's see if I can place that real fast. So I'll go to this side of the part. I'll click on New Sketch, and I will make a quick rectangle. Again, you notice that I'm not worrying about dimensions because I can come back and apply the dimensions that control its shape. 10, 10. I'll pull that one out so it's easier to get to. Point to point here. It's going to be 5. You'll notice it does say, hey, you're over constraining the sketch. That's okay. I'll let it have the dimensions just so I can see it. Makes me feel better. And I'll click here to say it's going to be, well, dimension from here to here to say it's going to be 10 down, and here to here it's going to be 10 there. So again, if I click on this side, it's going to say you're over constraining the sketch, but that's okay. I can at least confirm that it is the right dimensions I want it to be. Confirm it back with my drawing here, and then finish sketch. I now have a hole, so I click on the extrude there, and I will just drag it back through the object, going way over here so it knows it's a cut. Check it to make sure it's a cut, and say OK. So now we have the model created that, if I orbit it just right, looks very similar to the sketch that you see right here. And that's basically a quick creation of a little bracket. That's not to say this is an exact case of some bracket out there, but it could be pretty close. Now, what you need to do for practice is pause the video and go ahead and follow the extra steps that I have to complete this for yourself. Make sure that you hit the same dimensions I did. And just for reference, I'll put this on the screen just a little bit so that you can see it right there. Again, a 25 by 25, 30 tall bracket, and the notch out in the middle allows for 3, 3, 5, 3, and it's the same thing all the way around. And of course it goes down 27. So pause the video and recreate that set of dimensions as best you can. Alright, so that kind of wraps this up. You should at this point in time have a model that's pretty handy. Let's say that you're ready to 3D print this model. That would be a quick and easy way to process of just going over to your browser here, make sure it's expanded. If you don't see it, there should be some double arrows that you can expand out. Open up your body, see the body 1 right there, right click and say Save as STL. Your object selected. And then you can set your refinement to be whatever you want. If you have a 3D printer attached, you can check this on. We generally leave this unchecked because we don't always have a 3D printer attached to our computer to model. And when we leave this unchecked, it allows it to save out as an STL. Hit OK, and it saves the file, and I could send it to a 3D printer for perhaps production in a higher grade material, such as PETG, or maybe some nylon, maybe some reinforced or polycarbonate, whatever the case calls for. Alright, thanks for watching. Check out some of our other videos. Hopefully you'll find them pretty helpful. We'll see you.